Okay. I mentioned in a video yesterday about Ghislaine Maxwell, today's Saturday, July 26th, that the interview between her and Todd Blanche at the Department of Justice was the first time that she had ever been interviewed by anyone from law enforcement. First time ever. And I got some comments from MAGA chuds who are trying to spin Ghislaine Maxwell as a victim so that when Donald Trump pardons her or commutes her sentence, that they can hold Ghislaine Maxwell up as a victim instead of the obvious child sex offender and child sex trafficker that she is. And I was getting comments that were like, she's been silenced. The reason she spoke to law enforcement now is because it's in her interest to do so. Before now, before her convictions on child sex trafficking, 4 years ago or whenever it was, she was a perp. She was a suspect. And all of the "she's been silenced" crowd forgets that we have a Fifth Amendment. You cannot be compelled to incriminate yourself. You have a right not to testify. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say will be held against you in a court of law. I mean, I'm mixing that up with Miranda, but whatever. It was never in her interest to speak before now with law enforcement. Now it is in her interest because she got convicted on 6 counts of child sex trafficking. She got sentenced to 20 years in prison. She has an appeal pending, but that appeal's going nowhere. Only now is it in her interest. Her interest. She didn't have a conversation with the Department of Justice to provide some closure or validation to her victims. She spoke to the Department of Justice because of her own selfish needs. That does not make her a victim or a hero of any kind. And again, MAGA never gives 2 shits about the victims. They only care about the perps. If a child sexual assault perpetrator is a Christian, he gets forgiven. Because that's what their whole fucking thing is based on. You can go out in the world and commit any fucking atrocity that you can possibly imagine. But then if you find Jesus and ask for forgiveness, it will be given to you and you will be forgiven. If you're a Christian. They only care about the perps. And I've made this point multiple times this week. We don't know Laken Riley's name because she was horrifically murdered. We know Laken Riley's name because she was horrifically murdered by an undocumented immigrant. And so because she was killed by an undocumented immigrant, her name is on a piece of legislation. The Laken Riley Act. Where's the Virginia Giuffre Act? She was one of Jeffrey Epstein's and Prince Andrew's most outspoken victims, survivors. She killed herself earlier this year. Where's her legislation? Ghislaine Maxwell recruited Virginia Giuffre at Mar-a-Lago. And now you inbred fart-huffing Gomers are willing to forgive Ghislaine Maxwell and paint her as a victim because now it's in your interest to do so. Again, not giving 2 shits about her victims. You guys are just sad, pathetic clowns.